Welcome to Biology, My Passion. Today we are going to discuss a few multiple choice questions and assertion reasoning questions from sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So the first question is not literally from the second chapter, but this is a very basis of this chapter. If both male and female sex organs are present on the same plant, it is termed as. See, here you have to very clearly understand two different types of plants, monoecious and dioecious. Monoecious means both male flowers and female flowers are on the same plant, whereas dioecious means male and female flowers are on the different plant. So here we can say the answer as monoecious because both sex organs are present on the same plant. The male gametes in pollen are formed from generative cell, vegetative cell, tube cell or megaspore. Mature pollen grain has got two cells within, a larger cell called a vegetative cell and a smaller cell called generative cell. So vegetative cell grows down as the pollen tube after pollination, whereas generative cell nucleus divides to form the male gametes. So here the answer is generative cell. Ovule is attached to placenta by. So along with the structure of ovule, we learn the stalk of the ovule is the funicle and the part with which it is attached to the placenta is funicle. Integuments are actually the protective covering of the embryo sac. Micropyle is the small opening where it is not enveloped by the integuments. Hilum is the notch between the funicle and the ovule. Ovule is attached to the funicle by hilum. So here the answer is funicle. Female gametophyte in angiosperm is embryo sac, megaspore, embryo, pollen grain. So first you should understand what is the meaning of the word gametophyte. Gametophyte is the gamete producing structure. So in male it is pollen grain and female it is embryo sac. Usually children think pollen grain is the male gamete. No. Pollen grain is the structure in which male gametes are produced. So pollen grain is the male gametophyte in which the generative cell nucleus divides to form the male gametes. Whereas in female, ovule has embryo sac forming within it. That embryo sac is a female gametophyte. Inside that, egg apparatus is there towards the micropylar end, and in the center of the egg apparatus there is egg cell. So female gametophyte is embryo sac. Endosperm is formed by fusion of male gametes with. So here we can think about double fertilization. Double fertilization is a characteristic feature of angiosperms. In angiosperms there are two male gametes. One of the male gametes fuses with the egg cell, that is called a syngamy or fertilization. As a result, zygote is formed. Whereas the second male gamete fuses with two nuclei in the center of the embryo sac called polar nuclei and form primary endosperm nucleus. That fusion is called triple fusion. Since there are two fusions happening here, this is called double fertilization. So here answer is polar nuclei. Endosperm is actually the nourishment for the developing embryo. The ploidy of the endosperm in angiosperm is. This is a continuation of what we just now discussed. The male gamete fuses with the two polar nuclei in the center of the embryo sac. So polar nuclei, each nucleus is haploid. Male gamete is also haploid. So here triple fusion is happening. Three haploid nuclei are fusing. So the resultant cell would be triploid in nature. So you should remember, in the endosperm, the antipodals and egg apparatus, all cells are haploid. Whereas the central cell is considered diploid because it has got two polar nuclei. So after fertilization, zygote is diploid and primary endosperm cell is triploid in nature. The next question is, pollen move from anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower of a different plant of the same species. We are studying three types of pollination. One is autogamy, second is Geitonogamy, and third is Coenogamy. Okay. Auto means self. In autogamy, what happens? The pollen grain from this flower falling on the stigma of the same flower. Where it comes to Geitonogamy, pollen grains from one flower of the plant falls on the stigma of another flower of the same plant. In the third case, Coenogamy, pollen grains from one plant falls on the stigma of another plant. So here we can say this is within the flower, this is within the plant, this is between two different plants. So in these two cases, genetically they are same because their DNA is the same, because basically the same plant only. Whereas here it is genetically different. In this case, we can say that this is functionally self-pollination, this is functionally cross-pollination, but genetically self-pollination. And one more way to remember is, it is in the alphabetical order, A, G, X. Within the flower, within the plant, between two different plants. Okay, so now let us go back. Anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower of a different plant. So now what is the answer? Coenogamy. The portion of the embryonic axis below the point of attachment of cotyledon. So usually we know that, suppose this is the embryonal axis. Okay, here are the cotyledons. So below the attachment of cotyledon is hypocotyle. Above the level of attachment is the epicotyle. This will terminate in the radicle. This will terminate in plumule. Plumule will give rise to the shoot. Radicle will give rise to the root. R for R, you can remember, radicle, root. So here the answer is hypocotyle. Parthenocarpic fruit among the following is. What is parthenocarpic fruit? Ovary directly turns into fruit without fertilization. So there is no seed. Right? In mango, lychee, jackfruit, seeds are present. Banana is the parthenocarpic fruit where seed is absent. When you look at a banana fruit, you know within that there is a black color thing in the middle. That is nothing but the rudimentary seeds, but they are not the viable seeds able to reproduce. So banana is a parthenocarpic fruit. But at the same time, banana is a true fruit also. Children are always confused. True fruit in the sense whether it is developing from the ovary or not. Okay, here in banana it is from the ovary only. So it is true fruit. But since it is not having seed or ovary is becoming fruit without fertilization, it is parthenocarpic fruit as well. Polyembryony is a condition in which poly means many. Polyembryony means each ovule contains many embryos. So option 1 is the correct answer. A seed which lack endosperm is. We know that based on the presence of endosperm, there can be endospermous and non-endospermous seed, or we can say albuminous and non-albuminous. Non-albuminous. So usually monocots are albuminous or endospermous. They retain their endosperm. Whereas when it comes to dicot, the endosperm will be utilized by the time the seed develops. So here P is a dicot which is actually having only cotyledons. It does not have any endosperm in it. So here the answer is P. Scutellum means monocots have a single cotyledon, and that single cotyledon of monocot is called a scutellum. So here the answer is direct, single cotyledon of monocot. The ovary wall changes into. We know though these are post-fertilization changes. We know ovary is becoming the fruit. So what will happen to ovary wall? It will become fruit wall. So what is the name of the fruit wall? Pericarp. So what is perisperm here? Perisperm is a persistent nucellus present in beet. Then testa and tegmen are the seed coats, whereas pericarp is the fruit wall. So here the answer is pericarp. Now match the following. These are based on different types of pollination with agents of pollination. All these are not needed for you, but it is good to know for NEET examination. Anemophily. Animo, it indicates or it gives us a sense of feeling of animals, but no, anemophily means wind pollination. So first one is wind pollination. Ornithophily. Ornithology is the study of birds. Ornithophily is pollination by birds. Hydro means what? Water. So hydrophily is water pollination. Entomophily. Entomo means it's insects. So entomophily is insect pollination. And in certain plants, bat pollinates the flower. So chiropterophily is bat pollination. Outermost and innermost walls of microsporangium in anther are. So we know that when we are drawing the anther with the microsporangium in it, the wall layer, 4 types are there. The outer thin wall is called epidermis. Inner to epidermis, there is another thin layer. That layer is called endothecium. Inner to endothecium, a few 2-3 layers of cells are there forming the middle layer. Okay, and inner to middle layer comes the tapetum. So this is the tapetum. So which is the outermost layer? Epidermis, and innermost layer is tapetum. So our answer is D. Intine is made up of. Pollen grain has got 2 wall layers, exine and intine. Exine is made up of sporopollenin, very hard substance, whereas intine is made up of cellulose and pectin. So here answer is both A and B. Tapetal cells are characterized by the presence of dense cytoplasm and 1 nuclei. True or false? Cannot say partially true or false. We can say partially true or false because dense cytoplasm is correct, but not only 1 nuclei, more than 1 nuclei can be present. So this is partially true, or we can say partially false. A micropyle is a. So when we are drawing ovule, you know this is embryo sac. These are the integuments. So there is a region here which is not enveloped by the micropyle, not enveloped by the integument. That region is called a micropyle. So we can say when it becomes a seed, you can see a seed is here. Near the notch hilum there will be a small hole called a micropyle. So the micropyle will allow the water to enter for the seed to germinate. The same way, no integuments are present at that region, and it is a small pore needed for seed existence because oxygen and water are entering through this. So all of the above is the answer here. 60% of angiosperms shed their pollens at the 2-celled stage. Majority of the plants they shed at a 2-celled stage, that is 1 vegetative cell and 1 generative cell. Suppose this is the pollen grain, this is the vegetative cell, and this is the generative cell. So after shedding, once it falls on the stigma, when it grows through the pollen tube, this generative cell nucleus divides into 2 to become 3 nucleated stage. So that time it is becoming 3. So that is only in 40% of angiosperms. Majority it is shed at 2-celled stage, but certain plants are there where there is 40% of plants before shedding itself this will divide into 2. Function of filiform apparatus. Filiform apparatus means, suppose this is the embryo sac. We know antipodals are there. Then here we have the egg apparatus consisting of 2 synergids and 1 egg cell. Inside this there is a flame-like structure or finger-like structure that is called a filiform apparatus. Their function is to guide the entry of the pollen tube. Autogamy means, this we already discussed in the first question. So it is self-pollination within the same flower. A particular species of plant produces light non-sticky pollen in large numbers and its stigma are long and feathery. These modifications facilitate pollination by. See, these are characteristics of wind pollinated plant, that is light and non-sticky pollen so that they can be taken through the wind. They are produced in large numbers to ensure the chance of pollination. Then stigma is long and feathery to capture the pollen grain. So all these facilitate wind pollination, which is otherwise called anemophily. Continued self-pollination results in. Self-pollination means what? Both the parents have the same genetic combination or DNA sequences. So if it is done continuously, whether it is in plants or animals, it will lead to a condition called inbreeding depression. While performing artificial hybridization program in dioecious plants, which of the following steps would not be relevant? We know that when we are doing artificial hybridization, first step is to emasculate. Emasculation of the bisexual flower. If the flower has both stamen and carpel, we will remove all the anthers or the stamens using a forceps. That is called a emasculation. After emasculation, we go for bagging. Because till the stigma becomes receptive, we have to wait. So during that time, no unwanted pollen should fall on the flower, so we bag it. Then we will be waiting for the stigma to be receptive. Once it is receptive, we dust the pollen grain. That means that is actually the artificial pollination. Pollen grains from the desired plant onto the stigma. But after that, again we have to rebag. Otherwise what happens? Unwanted pollen can again fall, right? Rebag. And along with that we do tagging also. We will keep the necessary information on a tag. So these are the sequences that we have to follow. But it is a dioecious plant. Dioecious plant means either male flower or female flower will be there. The dioecious plants, we know you are doing it for the female flower. So there is no anther or stamen present. So there is no need of emasculation in unisexual flowers. So here the step that can be avoided or it is not relevant is emasculation. Double fertilization is, I mentioned about double fertilization earlier. That is one male gamete fuses with the egg to form the zygote and another male gamete will fuse with the polar nuclei to form the primary endosperm nuclei. Syngamy and triple fusion are the two fusions or fertilizations involved in double fertilization. Now let us discuss certain assertion and reasoning questions. Assertion: in apomixis, the plants of new genetic sequences are produced. Reason: in apomixis, there is no fertilization. Two things you can remember here is parthenocarpy and apomixis. Both absence of fertilization. In parthenocarpy, ovary develops into fruit. In apomixis, ovule develop into seeds. So you know that usually after fertilization, these two are post-fertilization changes. After fertilization, ovary develops into fruit, ovule develops into seed. But here in both these cases, there is no fertilization. Without fertilization, ovary develops into fruit. So there is no seed within the fruit, so it is seedless fruit. The same way in apomixis, ovule develops into seed without fertilization. So there is exact copy of the parent plant is produced in the seed because there is no fertilization or genetic combination happening. Now look at this assertion. In apomixis, the plants of new genetic sequence are produced. Wrong. Because I told directly developing, so there is no new sequence. In apomixis, there is no fertilization, it is correct. So we can say that option D is correct because assertion is false, reason is true. Assertion: megaspore mother cell undergoes mitosis to produce 4 megaspores. Reason: megaspore mother cell and the megaspores are both haploid. See, megaspore mother cell undergoes mitosis to produce 4 megaspores. That is wrong. Megaspore mother cell undergoes meiosis because always gamete mother cells or meiocytes undergo meiosis to produce daughter cells. Okay. So this is false. Megaspore mother cell and megaspores are haploid. No, megaspore mother cell should be diploid, which undergoes reduction division to form haploid megaspores. So here both the options are wrong. See, listen children, there are certain cases where usually the D option is assertion and reason both are false. That's also D. But in your current sample paper released, it is given option D as assertion false, reason true. But since here both are false, it is like the old pattern where we can say that D is the answer. Assertion: geitonogamy is genetically similar to autogamy. Reason: in geitonogamy, pollen grains come from the same plant. So we know that here genetically similar to autogamy because it is from the same plant. So here assertion is correct, reason is also correct, and this gives the correct explanation of assertion. So option A is the answer. Endosperm development precedes embryo development. Correct. After fertilization, first the primary endosperm nucleus will start dividing to produce endosperm. After some formation only, the zygote will develop into embryo. Why? It assures the nutrition to the developing embryo. That's also correct and correct explanation. So assertion and reason are correct, and R is the correct explanation of assertion. Mango is an example of a false fruit. Wrong. Mango is a true fruit because it is developing from the ovary after fertilization. In mango, thalamus contributes to the fruit formation. No. So here both assertion and reason are false. So we can say again option D. So hope you got some idea about certain multiple choice questions along with certain concepts here. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment box. All the best for the upcoming exam. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel Biology My Passion.